Today we're going to make Divinity. Divinity's a candy that's been around since the 1900s. It's an old Southern classic. It is also my father-in-law's favorite. So we're going to start with understanding that the process takes a while. So don't start this and think that you're going to be done in 15 minutes. You're not. It's going to take you an hour, and it's going to take an hour in the kitchen. So what you'll need to get started is 3 cups of granulated sugar, 1 cup of either diced pecans, you can use walnuts as well, 3/4 of a cup of light corn syrup, a 1/2 cup of water, 2 egg whites, and then you can use almond or vanilla, you can use peppermint, you can use whatever you choose as a flavoring. I like the classic almond, so we're going to be using about 1 teaspoon of that. So our first step is to combine our sugar, our corn syrup, and our water in a pan and get this boiling up to 248 degrees. So we're checking on this right now. As you can see, the consistency is starting to get a little glassy in there. We are at about 225 degrees, so we don't have much further. What we're looking for is a soft form on a candy. If you've ever fixed candy before, you're familiar with a soft ball form. So that's the goal here. We've probably got about 3 more minutes to go. So as you can see, we've hit about 248 degrees on our thermometer. So we're going to take this off the heat. I'd suggest having a trivet to set it on, and we're going to let this cool down to 220 degrees. So we're going to keep our candy thermometer in there and let it sit for a few minutes. While we're doing that, I'm going to whip the egg whites that we talked about earlier. Okay, while we're letting this cool, I'm going to whip these egg whites. If you're using a KitchenAid like I am, this is the Artisan, you're going to set it to speed 8, and you're going to want this to come up to a bit of a stiff yolk. So we're going to go ahead and set it to 8. So we're going to let this go for about 1 minute. For is just some soft peaks to start to form. When we're pulling this out, you can see there's a little bit of a peak coming up off that blender. That's what we're looking for. But we've got the soft peaks forming, and our temperature is cooled to a 220 degrees for our candy. I'm going to remove this, and we're going to slowly pour this mixture into our KitchenAid at a speed of 8 continuous. Let this go for another 1.5 minutes. And while we do that, kitchen tip, make sure you take your pot, fill it with hot water immediately, or your candy will be very difficult to clean. So we've let this go for about 2.5 minutes on speed 8. We're going to take that speed down to 4. And we're going to let that go for about 20 to 25 minutes. What we're looking for is a look to the candy that does not appear wet. And I'll show you what that looks like as soon as we get to that point. Okay, we've got about 7 minutes to go. I'm going to go ahead and add my almond extract. About a teaspoonful is all you need. And if you take a peek in here, you can see that it's starting to firm up quite a bit. We're looking for dry, but we are getting very close. Okay, so we've gone about 22, 23 minutes, and if you look inside here, you're going to see that the mixture begins to look a bit like you're pulling taffy. That's about the consistency that you're going to want to see. So I'm going to slow this down, and I'm going to pour in 1 cup of chopped pecans. My objective here is just to mix them, not to do anything more than that. Big chore is getting all your Divinity out of your mixer. There is no easy way. There is no secret to this. Okay, now we're going to take our mix over here. We're just going to make sure that those nuts are all incorporated well. You can see again, our mixture is looking a little drier. Don't want to work it too much, just enough to get those nuts mixed in. And from there, we're going to put this mixture in spoonfuls onto our parchment paper. You can also use wax paper. You can grease a paper if you choose to. You'll see we're just going to drop these on like this. They're going to hold their shape a little bit. They might flatten out, but not too badly. One of the fun things that you can do with Divinity at different times of year is you can use food coloring in it. So it's Halloween and you want little orange pieces of Divinity for the kids. This is a great sweet treat for them. Christmas time, you green or red. Valentine's Day, pink. Whatever you choose. You don't have to use nuts either. You can choose to opt out of nuts. I have some of my family members who would prefer them without nuts. But once you're done with this process, and this should give you probably 40 or so treats. And they're all calorie free, of course. You will put this up and we'll let it sit and cool down for roughly a couple hours. It probably will cool faster. My husband would tell you that they're cool in about 2 minutes. And we'll snatch them right off my pan. But that's it. That's what it takes to make these. And when I come back to you, we will go ahead and wrap them up in a nice pretty tin. Gotta stop. Okay, these have been sitting for about an hour now. It's about 15 degrees outside, so they probably set a little faster than they would in the southern states. Just keep that in mind. Usually I would let them set overnight if I were in Florida. But they're all set to go. What I've done is I've taken some wax paper and I've just cut circles around so that I can have some separators for loading up my father-in-law's tin that he gives back to me after he's finished with his Divinity so I can refill. So, real easy. Just pop that in there. These should come up pretty easily from your wax paper or your parchment paper. I don't bunch them up. I keep them pretty far apart. Another layer in there. This is going in a Christmas tin, but these would make great little gifts for Valentine's Day coming up. Teachers would absolutely love them. And what you could do is go ahead and decorate them with a little pink sugar and turn it into a great Valentine's Day gift. Of course, don't use the Christmas tin. That'll spoil it. And that's it. You have your Divinity.